All right, let's pull back the curtain on how the software you use every single day actually gets made. We're going to go on a little journey here, starting from just a tiny spark of an idea all the way to the complex apps that live on your phone and computer. Let's dive in.
I mean, really think about it. We spend so much of our lives tapping and swiping away. But what is actually going on behind that screen? Well, I can tell you it's not magic. It's a really deliberate, surprisingly structured process, and we're about to walk through every step.
And that's the perfect analogy. You would never, ever build a house by just buying some wood and nails and hoping for the best, right? Of course not. You need a detailed plan, a blueprint. And in the software world, that blueprint is what we call system design. So this design phase, it is absolutely the most critical bridge in the whole process. This is where we take what a person wants the app to do and translate it into a concrete plan that a programmer can actually sit down and build. It's all about thinking before you code, and this is where the entire foundation gets laid. Now, this blueprint, it really has two key parts. On one side, you've got the logical design. That's the what. In our house analogy, this is where you decide, I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a big open kitchen. It's all about what the user needs and sees. But then you have the physical design. That's the how. This is the engineer's plan, the specific foundation, the plumbing, the wiring, the exact hardware you need. You just can't have one without the other. The physical plan is what makes that logical dream actually possible. And here's a fundamental truth you've got to understand. Even the most perfect-looking blueprint can have hidden flaws. Maybe something got lost in translation between what the user wanted and what the designer heard. And that's exactly why, once you've built the thing, you have to inspect it, and I mean rigorously. So if design is the blueprint, then this phase, well, this is the home inspection. Before a single person is allowed to move in or start using the software, we have to kick the tires. We have to make sure everything is solid, secure, and totally ready for the real world. Because trust me, skipping this step doesn't just lead to a few annoying bugs, it leads to frustrated users and ultimately failing products.
So, what's on the inspector's checklist? Well, we're testing for all sorts of things. We're asking questions like, is this app fast enough? What happens if 1 million people try to use it at the exact same time? Is it secure from hackers? And maybe most importantly, what happens when things inevitably go wrong?
Now check this out. Stress testing. The whole point of this is to push the system until it breaks. Seriously, think about an e-commerce website on Black Friday. We basically create that chaos on purpose. We simulate that insane peak traffic to find the system's absolute breaking point. That way, we can fix it before it crashes on the most important day of the year. And this one is brilliant. It's called recovery testing. For this, you literally force a system to fail. You pull the plug on purpose. Why would you do that? To test the backup and recovery plans. Did the backups actually work? Can we restore all the data without losing a single thing? You have to know the answer to that before a real disaster happens.
Okay, so the designs are solid. The inspection passed with flying colors. Now it's time for the most exciting and probably the most nerve-wracking part of the entire project. It's move-in day. This is when we go live, the moment we finally make the switch from the old system to the brand new one. But you don't just flip a switch, no way. It's a super careful step-by-step process. After you've got the final plan locked in, you convert all the old data so it works with the new system. And then comes the most important step. For a while, you run both the old and the new systems at the same time. It's called parallel processing, and it's basically a safety net. It lets you compare the results from both systems side by side to make sure everything is 100% perfect before you finally cut the cord on the old one for good. But here's the thing. Just like when you move into a brand new house, the work isn't done, not even close. In fact, it's really just beginning. Software needs constant care and feeding to stay useful and effective over time. This is what we call the maintenance and enhancement phase. And maintenance isn't just one thing. It really comes in 3 different flavors. First, you have corrective maintenance. This is what you probably think of, fixing bugs and errors. It's basically like repairing a leaky pipe in your house. Then there's adaptive maintenance. This is when you have to change the software to work in a new environment, like for a new operating system. Think of it as updating the home's electrical system to handle new appliances. But this third one, perfective maintenance, this is where things get really interesting. This is all about making the system better for the users, like doing a full kitchen renovation. And here is the big surprise. Out of those three, where do you think most of the time and money actually goes after a system is launched? It's not on fixing bugs, not even close. The vast majority of all the effort, it's spent on perfective maintenance. It's spent constantly adding new features and improving performance to keep up with what you, the user, actually want and need. So when you boil it all down, the real takeaway is this. Creating the software you love is a marathon, not a sprint. It's this continuous cycle of starting with a careful blueprint, doing a really thorough inspection, and then spending the rest of its life just making it better and better. It's a living, breathing thing.
So think about it. The next time your favorite app gets an update, you'll know it's not just some random change. It's probably a piece of that perfective maintenance we just talked about. You'll actually be able to see the blueprint at work right there behind the screen. Thanks for joining me on this.